Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. So today we're gonna have more of curiosity conversations because lately I know that I had came in here and talk about waters and also the lights and the energies in the past few weeks, but I've been diving deeper into the subject, into the light, water, hydrogens, energy, and all that stuff. And honestly, um, the more I learn, the more I realize that the natures are showing us these patterns all along, right? And we already accepted um, this sunlight effect on our body. You know, we know it affects our mood. I mean, who can argue that when there's a nice sunny day, you feel happy? And of course, it affects our hormones. There's a study on that. And definitely vitamin D. We know about that fact. And it gives us more energy. People are more outgoing when there's nice and sunny day than rainy and cloudy day. And then also sleep. It's give us a better sleep at night. And not just that, we all know also that plants depend on light, and all life actually depends on light and then water. So maybe light and water are more important to our body than people realize. I think people are taking that into maybe like kind of into the back of their head, because this is something that we already have daily and we just don't think about how important these are. Yeah, excuse me. So, one thing that fascinates me is how these nature doesn't feel like a forced thing, right? Everything kind of work together in harmony, and that is so important. Sunlight hit the water, sunlight hits a plant, plants create energies, and somehow body the same thing respond to the light as well. So this is not something that is being debated anymore. This is something that people accept. And the other thing that has become really, really popular when we're talking about light treatment is red light therapy. I mean, you've seen so many versions of this red light therapy that you can get the home version, a mask of red light therapy for your mask that help reduce fine lines and wrinkles. Of course, there's more than that. There's the spa now many spa has a red infrared light sauna. I myself has started using that at the spa for the last couple of weeks, and I telling you honestly that I have not gone into a sauna because I do not like the heat, that dry heat in the sauna. It's uncomfortable. I don't like sitting in there. I don't even like sitting in jacuzzi. I know people laugh at me when they say, "How could you not like sitting in jacuzzi?" Because I don't like that type of heat, you know. But so I said, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna give it the infrared light a try at this local place that I recently joined, and it has. If you on my Instagram, you probably saw that I did cold plunge for the first time. Out out topic a little bit, but it was a great experience. So infrared, back to infrared light room sauna. I did not think that I was gonna last more than a few minutes because, like I said, I was associating that with my when I stepped into like sauna room before briefly, and then I didn't like. But anyway, I sat in it, and then the heat was different. Um, and the benefit or the way I feel. with it was different. I didn't feel dehydrated. I didn't feel dry. I sweat, which is it's good for you, for detox. And there's whole loads of benefit for infrared light therapy because of the light frequency that is being putting out there in that room. So it's not a heat sauna; it's the red light that heat up the room, right? So I enjoyed it. I At first I lasted maybe 15 minutes, and like yesterday talking to people enjoying it, I think I sat in there for like 35 minutes. It was nice, and again it didn't feel like dry heat or anything like that at all. So that's become really popular. I mean, there's a lot of place here in Long Beach that has that. And the other thing that I talk about it before, and I have a friend, a acupuncturist, that loves grounding. Grounding also become a really, really popular subject. I mean, she talked about it for years before I even start picking up on this topic. Again, I have a phobia myself. I do not like walking barefoot on. I grew up, I did not go outside barefoot at all. I'm more open to it now that I would go barefoot on things, and of course other than beach on the sand. I still didn't like it that much. But then but now I'm more open. But my friend uh, would go out to walk at the park and hike in this trail barefoot because she loves that frequency from the earth. And I don't know much about the grounding as much as she does, but that frequency that you get from the earth also help with your overall body wellness as well. So it's kind of improving that signalings in your body. So grounding has become popular, and I would love to do a little bit more when it's winter time because I don't like walking on wet ground. So, so that's something else that fascinating that I want to learn more about it and more benefits. So people are starting to pay more attention in the circadian rhythms, and that's something that people talk about it a lot more. So clearly, the body is responsive to frequency and the environment that we put it in, right? And that, I think, what got me drawn into this wearable light technology, how it fascinated me in the first place, and especially when somebody said it's like needleless acupunctures, right? Um, so it makes me ask a different questions, asking a different questions now. And then recently, with X2O came out, I mean, put I learn as much as I can along the way in the last probably 6 years of using the patches. I listened to our founder, I listened to other holistic doctor, and but recently when the X2O came out, I started to learn more about the hydrogens. And honestly, um, before this, hydrogen was more about a gas in the chemistry class. Or, like I said, I used to work for orthopedic surgeon at one time. I mentioned that. And we have thermography or thermogram machine that power by hydrogen. So every week, this company would have to come in and fill up the tank with hydrogen in it to so the camera can be power and take this amazing pictures. So I knew about thermogram a little bit. That's when it reads inflammation, and our doctor was using that to see where the inflammation and ache and pain is. So that's, and then of course hydrogen is more than that, right? It is actually part of the nature that create energies, and it's in the water. H, hydrogen 2O. And I did not. I was so ignorant about it, I should say, that, hydrogen is just a gas. There's nothing important about that. until, of course, when we have this X2O came out and we start to learn about hydrogen water a little more. And like I said, X2O, not is not the hydrogen water that we makes. Why is it different? It is a light frequency water. It's infused about six frequency of lights in the water. So you're basically drinking light water. And we talk about that already. So in the nature, in plants, sunlight interact with water, right? All day long, spring waters and rain and everything else. And hydrogen help store and transfer the energies during photosynthesis. And we all know that. We heard of photosynthesis since we were in grade school about plant and photosynthesis. And so, if you start to connect those little dots together, you realize that nature has been using lights and water together all this time. And when, even though, I'm not a scientist and I am not claiming to know about everything about the science and all this stuff, but I will leave that in school, the science, the biologies and everything else about the science. I'll leave that, but I'll start to learn a little bit along the way because this subject fascinate me. So I pick up on a little bit thing here, a little bit thing there while we're listening to the webinar and other expert on this. So I start to see these pattern differently, right? You start to see how this nature and the patterns and the frequency affect our body and how it is already in the nature itself. So that's why this technology like the X39 and the X2O become part of my interest lately. I want to come out and share this with the like-minded people that seeing things not from the scientific eye that needs to explain everything scientifically. So I want to make sure that it come out from a layman term like myself, how I understand this, that all these things doesn't come in force. They don't is that they don't come from a fort mindset. This is something more of communication and understanding. So our body is the same way. It's about aligning those communication and the support and the signaling allow our body to do what it already know how to do. And that just aligned with me better once I start to understand that it the nature doesn't scream at the body, it supports it. It support the nature support the system, the lights and water frequency, the environment, and all that matters. And this is where the curiosity and the wellness is different, because nowadays people are more exhausted than ever. People are more stressed than ever. And people start to realize they don't want any more force into their body. They want to balance their body more. They want to feel overall wellness. They want an increase in energy without forcing more energy to come out. They want to feel have a better recovery. They want better clarity, better sleep, and just overall well balanced body and feeling. So today wasn't meant about the science again. I hope I didn't go into the science training, and it's more like a conversation that have been popping up and how it's these are fascinating how the body and the nature are really like and what they do. And honestly, the deeper I dive into this subject, And the more I learn and hear about our X2O, about the lights, how it works with our body, because I think David said there's one thing that doesn't age is the lights in our body, right? So if you can replace that, if we can bring in more lights in our body, then it will allow our cell to work at the cellular level to have a better signaling, better communication, and open up to our body to do what it's supposed to do. So, um, moving forward, I think people are will be start will start talking about uh, the importance of lights, water, energy, and cellular communication in a different and completely different way. I think people will start to understand more and allow that to happen naturally, in our body by utilize these tools to open up again that signaling and communication in our body. And and those tool is what got me here and allow me to have better understanding about this cellular, level communication. So thank you again, you guys, for being here and allowing me to be part of, um, this. And I love coming here. So thank you so much for again allowing me to be part of this conversation. And hopefully, I will see you again next week. Um, See you guys. Bye now.